still a few months out from NFL draft season, but the regular season is in the books. The PFF grades are in, and we have a few prospects that are maybe getting more hype than the production would show. So let's run through a few names, starting with Michigan defensive end Rashon Gary. Everybody seems to have him as a lock first rounder, but an 80.4 overall grade is a little bit lower than you would expect from a guy that's most certainly supposed to go in the first round. Only 74 pressures over the last 2 years. By comparison, Chase Winovich, his teammate, has 106, and he only has 24 pressures this year. And we look at a guy that was a 290-pound defensive tackle, now listed as a 283-pound defensive end. He might have to transition inside at the next level. So Rashon Gary has incredible athleticism. He's definitely a guy to keep an eye on when it comes to the NFL Draft Combine, but when we look at his production, there's still some question marks. Another name to keep an eye on, Ed Oliver from Houston, another guy that seems to be getting top 10 lock type of status, but we do have a deep defensive line class, and when you look at a guy like Quinnen Williams from Alabama, who fits the NFL mold a little bit better and was far more productive, Ed Oliver might not even be the first interior defensive lineman off the board now. There are some questions about his size, potentially weighing in around 270. That'll be big for him when it comes to the NFL Combine. But for a projected top 10 pick, Oliver only has 25 pressures on the season, and this has been his best season rushing the passer. You compare that to other interior defensive linemen across the country. Draymond Jones has twice as many with 52. Jerry Tillery with 50. Quinnen Williams, who we mentioned, already has 48. So Ed Oliver, outstanding run defender, potentially on the undersized side, and just most importantly, not rushing the passer at the level that you'd expect from a lock top 10 pick. Still a lot of projection with Ed Oliver's game. Let's go to quarterback now, where guys like Daniel Jones from Duke are starting to get some hype in this class that has major question marks. So while we're excited to see Daniel Jones improve his 79.7 passing grade, a huge jump over his 2017 campaign where he was at 57.8, he still doesn't make the special downfield throws that you'd expect from a guy that's 6'5", 220 with a pretty good arm. Only 13 big-time throws, that's 71st in the country, and he has almost as many turnover-worthy plays with 11. That is a bit concerning. Daniel Jones, his throw-for-throw accuracy and decision-making just not up to par for a first-round quarterback. He's still more of a developmental prospect and shouldn't really see his name called in the first round. Another quarterback prospect with some question marks, it's Drew Lock, who, much like Daniel Jones, he fits the prototype. He's got the size, really good arm, but the concerns with Lock start with his inability to make plays outside of the structure of the offense, and he's playing in a Missouri offense that's very simplistic, simple reads, and he's done it pretty well. He's improved every single year with regard to PFF grading in his 4 years as a starter at Missouri. He has the big-time throws, 28 of them, that's fifth most in college football. But the simple offense and the adjusted completion percentage being at only 70, that's 47th among all quarterbacks. That's well below guys like Dwayne Haskins, Will Grier, and Kyler Murray. It's that throw-for-throw inconsistency that probably keeps Lock out of first-round consideration from a PFF standpoint. And even though he has improved quite a bit, 84.8 overall grade, just not up to par with other first-round quarterback prospects. All right, let's go back to the defensive line, where Montez Sweat from Mississippi State, another guy who has the length and the explosion that you're looking for among edge defenders. He also has the sack totals, which can sometimes be misleading. He has 23 over the last 2 seasons. However, at PFF, we've realized that sacks don't predict future sack totals, pressures do, and that's where Montez Sweat is a little bit behind some of his peers. He's only notched 44 pressures on the year. That's 30th among edge defenders. And of those 44, 17 were either unblocked or in cleanup situations, meaning he didn't necessarily beat his man to get to that pressure. So Montez Sweat has a lot of the tools, a solid 85.1 PFF grade, but not a dominant player and more of a fringe first-round prospect rather than a lock in that top 32. And staying in Mississippi, DK Metcalf, the wide receiver from Ole Miss. NFL draft gurus are going to be all over the place with Metcalf because he has incredible size. Even though he's battling an injury, if he gets to the combine healthy, he might absolutely blow up all of the workouts. But with Metcalf, his production has been inconsistent. He's dropped 7 passes over the last 2 seasons. Hasn't been a high-volume receiver in that Ole Miss offense. Did average 21.9 yards per reception, but only 6 targets per game. So can Metcalf truly be that number 1 high volume receiver. I think there's some question marks when it comes to his production matching his physical tools, and especially in this wide receiver class where there's a lot of guys with potential first-round hype. We could see DK Metcalf maybe being more of a second-round prospect, but the wide receiver class is going to be an interesting one to watch because the opinions will be all over the place. Some people will be higher on Metcalf than others. For us right now, the production is a bit of a concern given his size and athletic ability. So there you have it. It's 6 prospects whose production doesn't exactly match the hype right now as we head into NFL draft season.